Your acts, as well as the acts of your fellow men in general, appear to be important to you because you have learned to think they are important. He used the word learned with such a peculiar inflection that it forced me to ask what he meant by it. He stopped handling his plants and looked at me. We learn to think about everything, and then we train our eyes to look as we think about the things we look at. We look at ourselves already thinking that we are important, and therefore we've got to feel important. But then, when a man learns to see, he realizes that he can no longer think about the things he looks at, and if he cannot think about what he looks at, everything becomes unimportant. Don Juan must have noticed my puzzled look and repeated his statements 3 times, as if to make me understand them. What he said sounded to me like gibberish at first, but upon thinking about it, his words loomed more like a sophisticated statement about some facet of perception. I tried to think of a good question that would make him clarify his point, but I couldn't think of anything. All of a sudden, I felt exhausted and couldn't formulate my thoughts clearly. Don Juan seemed to notice my fatigue and patted me gently. Clean these plants here, and then shred them carefully into this jar. He handed me a large coffee jar and left. He returned to his house hours later in the late afternoon. I had finished shredding his plants and had had plenty of time to write my notes. I wanted to ask him some questions right off, but he wasn't in any mood to answer me. He said he was famished and had to fix his food first. He lit a fire in his earthen stove and set up a pot with bone broth stock. He looked in the bag of groceries I had brought and took some vegetables, sliced them into small pieces, and dumped them into the pot. Then he lay on his mat, kicked off his sandals, and told me to sit closer to the stove so I could feed the fire. It was almost dark. From where I sat, I could see the sky to the west. The edges of some thick cloud formations were tinted with a deep buff, while the center of the clouds remained almost black. I was going to make a comment on how beautiful the clouds were, but he spoke first. Fluffy edges and a thick core, he said, pointing at the clouds. His statement was so perfectly apropos that it made me jump. I was just going to tell you about the clouds. Then I beat you to it, he said, and laughed with childlike abandon.